Welcome to day number 25 in your Building Strength for Life program. This is a 31-day program to enhance health, build strength, and supercharge your confidence. And we have made it to day 25. Today's session is all about core strength and building core strength, finding out what strength you've got there, finding those weak areas so that you can develop your core strength even more. Today's workout is a no equipment workout. All you need is a mat or a soft surface to work from, and that's about it. There are some standing variations in case you don't want to be down onto the mat, but they don't engage the core quite as much as they would if you are lying on the mat. So if lying on the floor is difficult for you, then you could try lying on an elevated surface. That might help a little bit. So you might have to just experiment a little bit, but I'm going to be on my mat, on my floor, in my living room, so I hope you can join me for that. Are you ready? Let's get going. Okay, so let's get going with the session. We're going to go down to the mat to start with. We're going to be lying in a prone position, so onto your front. So lying onto your front, you can have your legs stretched out or you can have your knees bent, whatever you're most comfortable with. But head onto the mat, palms facing down, engage the core. So start to breathe in, hold into the core, and then breathe out, push the arms out. Coming round in a wide circle, and then back down and out, up and round, down and around, squeezing the shoulder blades together, breathing all the time. If you need to take a break at any point to just lower down, then you can do that, making sure you're not holding the breath at the top of the movement, and take a rest. Well done. Onto your back for the next exercise, which is a dead bug. Okay, so you're going to be lying onto your back with your fingertips up to the sky, knees bent, and we're going to be drawing the opposite arm and leg back and down, switch sides, and drawing back and down. So really pushing your back into the mat. Good. Now if this is a little tricky with the straightening the leg, then you can bend the leg and just drop the foot down, drop the heel, and the same with the arm. You can bend the arm. If you want to make it more difficult, take a longer time, stretch out, hold, back in under control. Stretch out and hold, back in under control. Well done. We're going to go back to that first exercise, that breaststroke exercise. Now I have showed you a variation for a standing version of this. The important thing to note is that when you're lifting your shoulders from the mat, that you're not holding your breath at that point. So you're not holding your breath here, you're breathing all of the time. So here we go. Out, round. Good, out and round. Now if you need to have your head resting down onto the mat, or you can put a block down for your head if you prefer. As I said before, you can have your knees bent if you want to. It depends what you find more comfortable with. You can bring the shoulders back off the mat a little more if you want to make it harder. Take a rest. Well done. Back to the dead bug. So you've got 20 seconds to turn yourself over, so just take your time there, making sure for this session, a core activation session, that we really are thinking about more than just the abdominal muscles. Fingertips up, legs bent, draw out, come back in, drawing out, back in. So pushing your back into the floor. So this is tricky, not only on a coordination front. If you've been doing my sessions for a long time, you will have definitely come across this exercise. I love this. Sometimes we do it with weights, sometimes we do it as a cool down exercise if we've had a particularly tough session. Well done. And take a rest. Good job. Okay, we're going to stay in this lying position here, And we're going to work on a heel slide circle. So one of our legs is bent, the other one is going to go straight. So you're going to be pushing your back into the mat, hands down by the side, not gripping onto the mat. And you're going to push a leg out, keep it just above the mat, come back up, bend at the top, push, up, bend. So what we don't want here, we don't want any sort of hips shifting off the mat too much. Really pushing your hips down into the mat. Push out, up. Good. Strong and stable, remember, through that midsection. And if you want to make it harder, you slow it down. You can also draw the leg that's supporting away from the body slightly. Take a rest. Well done. We're going to change sides. So you can make the exercise easier by having that supporting foot closer to your bottom. Make it a little harder by having that supporting leg further away. So always remember, you can always adjust that. Ready to go again. 2, 1, let's go. So push out, up, bend, pushing out, up, bend it in. So remember, you're not gripping onto that mat. Push, up, bend. Now I've got my trainers on for this workout, but it does work really well if you have got bare feet or just socked feet, because you can actually push that foot out against the mat. Well done. 2, 1, take a rest. Good job. We are going to be staying in this position here, and we're going to be doing something similar, but it's also a little bit different. We're working on the inner and the outer thigh in this one. So you'll start with your leg, one of your legs straight, the other one bent, just as we were before. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring that leg up, you're going to come around in a circle, and then come back up. Around in a circle, and back up. Around, up. You can make this a little easier, make the circle a little smaller. You can bend the knee. You can take a break. Okay, so whichever one you want to do is fine by me. You can make it a little harder by getting that leg all the way up, keeping the heel pushed out. Well done, good job. We're going to switch sides. And again, you can change the intensity of what's happening by sliding the supporting knee closer or further away from the body. Totally up to you on this one. Okay, so a bit of a change of pace in this session today. And I think I said in yesterday's session this was going to be a 20-minute session, but of course that's not quite right. This is a 15-minute session today. Bring that leg out, up, and round. Up, round. So really taking time to make sure that you're keeping those hips pushed into the mat. So when your leg is moving away from your body, what you're going to want to do is your hips are going to want to move with it, so you're tilting over, but that's actually not what we want here. Nice strong core means that when we come into that unbalanced area, you can stay nice and strong and stable. Let the muscles do the work, don't let gravity take you. Take a rest. Well done. Okay, before we get into our last movement, which is a side lying leg movement, we're going to go back to that first exercise of the lying heel with the circle. Okay, ready? Let's go. So heel push, up, back in, push out the heel, up, back in. So keep your breathing nice and even. So I've just moved my supporting leg away from my body a little bit, just to vary up the intensity, not gripping the mat. And you can change your hand positioning as well, so you can have your hands resting onto your tummy. You can have your fingertips onto your temple if you want to open up into that chest just a little more. And take a rest. Or equally, you can have your arms overhead here as well if you want to make it a little more challenging, just to stretch out into that core even more. So your hand positioning can really change the intensity of this exercise just on what you're asking your body to do. Ready to go with that heel slide? 2, 1, pushing out, up and round, back in, round, back in. So fingertips on temples if you want it. And similar to that last exercise, as soon as you change the arm positioning, what you're asking your body to do is different. So don't let gravity dictate what is happening. Whichever direction your foot's going, your hips, your spine need to be pushed into that mat. Well done. And take a rest. Excellent work. Okay, we're going to go back to that one leg circle. So again, keeping that leg bent, foot flat onto the floor. If you want to make it more difficult, then you can have that straight leg as the non-working leg. But if you're in any doubt whatsoever, try and keep that as a bent knee. Okay, ready to go. Stretch it out. We're going to go in the opposite direction this time. Okay, so I'm coming out towards you first and coming back up, whereas last time I came back up and then towards you. So I'm making my circles nice and big, but you can equally keep them smaller. Up here. And just keeping those hips pushed into the mat. If you're not sure whether your hips are being pushed into the mat, then you can feel them. So you could put your fingertips just underneath your pelvis and you can feel whether there's a lot of pressure or a little bit of pressure. Take a rest, rocking into those hips each time. So just push into the mat as best as you can. And it's okay if when you're doing this exercise, or any of these exercises, and this goes for anything in the plan, it's okay if it's not perfect. Okay, let's go again. Up, out, and round. It's not really your job to do it perfectly. Okay, it's just your job to do the best you can do, to work hard and to improve. I'm not sure whether perfection truly exists. I've been doing this job a long time, and we all have days where things are a little more tricky than other days. That's just human nature, and that is absolutely fine. That's just part of being human. Hello, Tom. Down and up. Take a rest. Well done. Okay, we're going to come into a side lying position now. You going to stick around for a bit, buddy? So side lying position. Your legs out nice and straight. You can have the bottom leg bent if you want to. And what we're going to do is hold in tight to your tummy. I'm onto a half plank hand here. And then I'm going to kick forwards. And then I'm going to come back into the center and just come back a little way. So forwards, into the center, back just a little way. Good. So I've got a standing variation for you for this one, if you don't want the side lying. And now what I'm doing here, I'm just giving a little bit of a tripod with my fingertips onto the mat. I'm not pushing down into the mat an awful lot. I'm just helping to stabilize. Some people find the side lying tricky. It depends on all sorts of factors. And take a rest. Well done. We're going to switch sides. But especially if you find a little bit painful there, you know, if you don't have an awful lot of padding onto the side there, you might find that a bit painful. You may be not used to being into that position. Let's go again. So keep that foot flat, back in, back a little way. What you don't want is come forwards, come back and then push your upper body. So that's why I just say back just a little way. And just try and keep it into the core and into the hips. Okay, good. Quick upper body posture check, because we are working the core, we're not just working the abs. So are your ears in line with shoulders? It's a really good way to check if your upper body alignment is sound. If you're not hunched over, you've got that nice chin gap. And take a rest. Good. Back to the first side. Here we go. Lovely work. So one more on each side and then you are done for the day. Day 25. 2, 1, let's go. So day 25, a little bit different again. Like to change up the intensity and the variation of the exercises on the plan. Don't want you to get too used to something. I don't want it to become predictable. I want it to be a little bit different for you. And yes, you're going to find things that you like and you're going to find things that you don't like so much. That's okay. I'm totally fine with that. Breathing through all the time, making sure that your upper body's not shifting too much. Good. And you may find that coming into this half plank arm is a little too much for you. Take a rest. If that is the case, if it's going into the shoulder a little too much here, you can either cradle the head in the nook of your arm, or you can have your arm stretched out and you're just lying your whole upper body onto the floor. Ready? Let's go. Push it forwards and back. So if you're a runner as well and you have quite tight hamstrings, back of the leg, calves, you might quite enjoy this one. That's one of the reasons I like it. Good old stretch through the back of the legs. Well done. Almost there. 2, 1, and take your rest. Really well done. Please join me tomorrow for day number 26, where we're going to be working on the lower body, the glutes and the legs. And hello, Tom. He's come to grace us twice today, aren't we lucky? So I really hope that you join me on day 26. I hope you've enjoyed this session as well. And I look forward to seeing you then. Take care. Bye.